Welcome back to Pension and Insurance in Israel with Bosmat.
It's great to be back.
Now, this one's for all our Olam listeners out there, those of you who just made Aliyah.
Right?
We're going deep today on pensions and insurance.
Helping you guys figure out, how to make this whole new financial world a little bit less, less confusing.
Exactly. And today, I'm really excited because we have this awesome guide. It's all about retirement planning.
Specifically for new Olam.
Yes. And it's packed with tips. So are you ready to get into it?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. So the guide starts off, and it's talking about, before we even get into the nitty-gritty of finances and stuff like that, it says we got to understand our current lifestyle.
Oh, that's so important. Yeah.
It sounds simple, but why is that so important, especially for, someone who's just starting out in Israel?
It's all about setting yourself up for success. Like, imagine this. You've just arrived in Israel.
Right.
You're excited. There's amazing food everywhere you look. Vibrant culture. You might even have family here you haven't seen in ages.
It's true.
And you want to enjoy all that.
Right.
Of course. But to do that, you need to know how much that lifestyle actually costs.
I see.
Right. So figuring out how much you spend now will help you determine how much you need to save to maintain that same quality of life when you retire.
That's really smart. Okay, so step one is figure out where we are now.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes total sense. Okay, then the guide jumps into budgeting. And, emphasizes everyday expenses, the things that we all have, like, food, transportation, and housing.
Yeah, those are the big ones for sure. But I've got a little tip.
Ooh, I love a good tip.
Especially for our OM listeners, don't forget senior citizen discounts. Israel has amazing programs, for seniors.
Oh, tell me more.
Things like discounted public transportation.
Really?
Cheaper entry to museums,
Wow.
cultural sites, you name it. It can really add up and make a difference in your monthly budget.
I never thought about that. That's awesome.
There are even special benefits and tax breaks designed just for new immigrants. The guide goes into those as well.
That is amazing. I bet people don't even know about that.
I know, right?
That is so helpful. Knowing where to find those resources, that's huge. But, okay, retirement isn't just about, pinching pennies, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
The guide also mentions, planning for fun stuff.
Yeah.
They call it experiences and leisure.
Exactly. Retirement should be about freedom and enjoying yourself. And this guide wants you to think about all the hobbies, the travel plans, maybe even just spending more time with family and friends.
I love it.
Right. All that good stuff.
Yes.
Make sure to factor those fun expenses into your budget so you can really savor your retirement years.
I love that. Okay, now, on a more serious note, but still super important, the guide talks about medical expenses.
Yes. That's one that people often forget about.
I know.
It happens. But it's so crucial. And this guide stresses the importance of understanding your health insurance coverage in Israel. It's about knowing your rights within the Israeli healthcare system. Luckily, Israel's public healthcare system is really robust, but supplementary insurance can give you that extra peace of mind, Knowing how it all works can help you plan for any potential healthcare costs down the road.
Yes, great point. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about how to grow that retirement nest egg.
Let's do it.
The guide mentions some investment options and specifically talks about something called a training fund. Can you explain what that is?
Of course. So training fund is a direct translation. In Hebrew, it's herein, and it's kind of unique to Israel.
Okay.
It's a savings plan offered by employers. And what's really cool is that it can continue to grow tax-free even after you retire.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great benefit, and the guide explains how to use that to your advantage.
I bet. But with any investment, I'm guessing there are some things you should watch out for, right?
For sure. The guide's got you covered. It mentions some potential pitfalls and reminds us that any investment strategy should always match your retirement goals.
Makes sense.
Diversifying is really important, and you've got to understand the fees that come with those managed funds. So don't be afraid to do some research, compare different options, and find what works best for you.
Love it. Okay. Now, the guide also mentions something a little less traditional, tapping into home equity.
Yes.
Through something called a reverse mortgage.
Interesting option.
It sounds complicated, but it could be valuable for some people.
It definitely can be, especially if you own property in Israel. Essentially, a reverse mortgage lets you borrow against the value of your home while you're still living there.
Oh, wow. I see.
But as the guide points out, this isn't a decision to take lightly. You really need to understand all the terms, the interest rates, and how it might affect your heirs before you even consider it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I think the big takeaway here is that knowledge is power.
100%.
The more we know about finances in Israel, the better decisions we can make for our retirement.
Absolutely. And I think one last point to add, even with the best laid plans, life happens. Unexpected things pop up.
That's so true.
So the guide ends with a really important reminder. Build an emergency fund. Doesn't matter how small, even a little safety net can make a world of difference and give you so much peace of mind in retirement.
You know what? Those are some wise words.
Mm.
Thank you so much for walking us through all of this. It's been amazing. And for our listeners, just remember that everything we've talked about today is for informational purposes only.
Right.
It's not a substitute for personalized advice from a professional.
Exactly.
So please consult with an expert to get tailored guidance for your specific situation.
Always a good idea.
Thanks again for joining us on this journey, and we'll see you in our next deep dive.
See you then.
Bye.